Good evening and welcome to Netzach Yisrael's daily Kitzur Shulchan Aruch Share. Tonight we're going to continue Siman Nun Ches, Siman 58, the laws of the blessings over things that give a cent, and we're going to start from Seif Tes, Seif 9. Holefonov, if one had in front of them Peri Hamiriach, so a fruit that gave a cent, V'asei Basomim, and some tree products, so some kind of bark, twigs, that also gave a cent. Ve'isvei basomim, and herbs that give a cent. Or mine basomim, and other sorts of spices, all again that give a cent. Mavorich alach kol echad bracha ru'ya, you make a blessing on each one of them, the separate blessing that is fit for that particular type of spice. And you first make a blessing on the fruit, and then on the tree, and then on the herbs, and then on the other different types of spices. Seif Yud 10. Mugma, incense. So I know that is that you place spices on a fire, on coals, in order that it should create a pleasant scent. Then one makes a blessing on this scent from when the smoke starts to billow. However, before one can actually smell the scent that this incense is meant to give. And like all the blessings over benefits that one gains, one should not make a blessing before the smoke starts to billow, starts to rise. Because we need a blessing that is close to the benefit, and if the smoke hasn't started to rise yet, it's not considered to be close to the benefit. Likewise, the reason why one makes a blessing before one can smell it is because one should really make a blessing over benefits, over things that one has benefits from, before one actually has benefits from it. If this incense is made from types of trees, types of barks, for example, that have a pleasant smell, then one makes the blessing with the wood of spices. If it is herbs that one is burning, then one makes the blessing of herbs of spices. And if it's of other types of spices, one makes a blessing of who creates the different types of spices. But Davka, specifically, one only makes a blessing when one is burning incense in order to gain a pleasant smell. But however, one who burns incense in order to remove a bad smell. Like, for example, people used to put incense near to dead bodies, so in order to try and kind of combat the smell of the dead body. In Mevorach Nolav, then one does not make a blessing on that at all. Seif Yud Aleph 11. Similarly, and anything which is not placed there for their own sense. For example, that are stored in a storehouse for merchandise. And we're talking about a storage, a warehouse, not the place that they're actually sold. And similarly, spices that one places in their clothing or vessels or similar, in order to impart from the smell onto the clothing, so to get kind of a scented clothing, scented handkerchiefs, for example. But however, these spices these sweet smelling spices are not actually there for their own kind of primary smell. Only to give a scent to these clothing. In Mevorach, one does not make a blessing on them when one goes in and is able to smell them. Even if one does intend to actually get some benefits and to smell this pleasant smell. And this is, however, only if one needs them. However, if one actually kind of picks them up specifically to smell in this warehouse, or the spices that one placed next to the clothing, and then picks the spices up, then one still needs to make a blessing. Seif Yud Beis 12. So one who enters into a perfume house, or into a pharmacy where they used to have all sorts of herbs and spices for their medications. And one has intends to smell the pleasant smell of these spices or perfumes. So this is, as I said earlier, this is not like the previous Seif's case, which is where they're actually just put there for storage, but they're actually now here. They're actually here to be sold. So this is the shop, not the warehouse. In this case, one makes a blessing of one who creates different types of spices. Because the spices is in the shop are there to be smelled. Because the shopkeeper wants people to come in, smell the pleasant smells, and then buy whatever it is that they're selling. Because the shopkeeper wants there to be a pleasant smell, therefore the purpose of these are to give a smell, and therefore one is required to make a blessing. If one enters and then leaves, and then one enters and leaves again. If one knew that when one left that one intended to return, then one does not need to make a new blessing when one re-enters the shop. If one's mind wandered, one got engrossed in another task in between, or one left and waited for a long time before returning to the shop, or one entered a different shop. So then one needs to make a blessing every single time one enters the shop. Seif Yud Gimel 13. A smell which has no kind of primary scent-giving item. Going, for example, begodim clothes, shehemim mugmorim, which have had scent imparted to them, but they don't actually have their own scent. They just kind of have almost I think they kind of, it's considered to be here an echo of a scent. Or the spices were left in a pot for storage or whatever, and then this pot is left with some residual pleasant smell. Similarly, someone who's working with esrogim or other fruits that give a pleasant smell, and then one's hands or one's clothing, there's some residual scent left. One does not make a blessing on this smell because it's not a primary smell. Seif Yud Dalet 14. Siman Kufnun Beis Seif Ches. In a Siman 152, Seif 8, which hopefully we will get to. We learn that it is forbidden for a man to smell a woman's perfume. Obviously, we're not talking about married couples here. Over Siman Kuf Samach Zayin in Siman 167, Seif Zayin Seif 7. One learns the ost is forbidden to smell a scent that was made for idol worship. As it is forbidden to make a blessing on them in this circumstance if one did smell them. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good evening.